I really want to do damage. I wouldn't be taking this fight if I knew I didn't win.
Man, I really don't care. I mean, I'm excited. I dream about stuff like this, man. You know, it kind of give me chills now. You know what you said, Tim is the biggest of names. You know, he's cool, but he's not the biggest of names. And
for main event, he's the biggest of names.
you know, he's the biggest names in Australia. You know what I'm saying?
The much-anticipated face-to-face interview between Errol Spence Jr. and Tim Tszyu delivered exactly what fight fans had been hoping for, as the encounter was filled with intense moments, sharp verbal exchanges, and an undeniable undercurrent of tension that crackled throughout the entire proceedings.
July 26th, you got Tim Tszyu. Take me through the fight. What do you expect that fight to look like?
Man, I really don't know. All I know is he's definitely gonna get punched.
Both fighters sat across from each other, fully aware that their upcoming blockbuster showdown would define their respective legacies, and that awareness translated into every word they spoke and every glance they exchanged. The atmosphere was electric, with neither.
You got Errol Spence Jr. Give me your thoughts on Errol. You know, he's been out of the game, been away from the game. It'll be about 3 years when you guys fight that he had his last fight.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I think 3 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Especially at the sort of the peak years of your career.
Yeah.
Don't know how he's been looking after himself or what he's been doing. So, again, he's been one of the greatest fighters of this decade. You know, his results speak for themselves, and his only loss is against Crawford,
Right.
who is the greatest fighter of our decade.
Right.
You know, so it's a crazy challenge in front, but
Neither man willing to back down or show even a hint of weakness, as they prepared to step into the ring for what promises to be one of the most compelling matchups of the year.
You feel like you didn't take too much time?
Because I was also active, and I was also active as far as, you know, playing soccer, training, playing soccer, and learning soccer. You know, going to the gym. You know, running around, just doing stuff, just being active, and you know, a lot of the vices that I had in the past. You know, I don't drink anymore, so just a lot of stuff that was slowing me down. You know, it's not anymore. It's not being a vice. I'm more with my family. You know, if I'm not with my family, I'm probably training somewhere, or you know, I'm probably traveling.
This face-to-face meeting served as the perfect prelude to the main event, giving fans a tantalizing glimpse of the bad blood and competitive fire that will be on full display when the opening bell finally rings. Throughout the interview, Tim Tszyu repeatedly emphasized that his consistent activity level and recent in-ring experience would provide him with a significant and potentially decisive advantage against an opponent who is returning from such a lengthy and extended period of inactivity.
Coming back after a 3-year layoff, what's the thought process on that?
Coming back in Errol Spence form. Who else is coming back against someone who was just elite? We know that he's, you know, Tszyu is taking his steps back, you know, after the terror that he had in 23, 24, going into 2025. You know, he was on a literal terror. But Errol Spence going overseas, you know, going under the equator, you know, the down under. You know, hostile territory, you know, and the list goes on. And as you heard what Errol said, you know, I've done this as a pro, Sheffield, England. I did this as an amateur, you know, Russia and Azerbaijan, a couple other countries. And my dad actually was in those countries with him.
Your dad was with him.
Yeah. Errol's coming back the only way Errol could. I think that, you know, we heard him saying he might wake up one day and want to come back. I imagine that before this fight actually was made, he had woken up a lot of days and wanted to come back, and it just took some time for this thing.
The Australian star made it abundantly clear that he intends to apply relentless pressure from the very first second of the opening bell, promising that he would not give Spence any time to settle into the fight or find his rhythm. Tszyu insisted that he would bring the heat immediately, overwhelming his opponent with a non-stop offensive assault that would test Spence's conditioning, resolve, and ability to handle sustained aggression.
All-out war. I think a one-sided fight. I think he's gonna give it everything that he has, but I'm definitely gonna put on a great show and show the fans of Australia, show the world that Errol the True Spence is back, and y'all will respect me after this fight. And Tim
He spoke with the confidence of a man who believes he has found the blueprint to victory, and he made no secret of his intention to exploit what he perceives as a vulnerability in Spence's return from such a prolonged absence from the sport. On the other side of the equation, Errol Spence Jr. explained that his long break from professional boxing actually served a crucial purpose, allowing him to recover both mentally and physically after years of grueling competition and personal challenges that had taken their toll on his overall well-being.
Derek James is out, Ronnie Shields is in. What prompted you to go to Ronnie Shields?
I definitely liked his past work, especially with Jamal. You know, he had likes of Van Holyfield and guys like that, but you know, he incorporates the jab, he incorporate, you know, more head movement, and no knock to Derek, but I feel like he took me as far as he could take me. Because if you study fights, if you look at myself in the amateurs and you look at me when I first started professional, what can you truly say that changed about me when I got older, when I'm 35, 34, and nothing changed. Like, I'm still doing the same thing, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, same rhythm, you know, and still throwing my punches the same and everything. So I just feel like he got me to a certain level, and you know, he had maxed out. He couldn't take me any further, and I feel like when I'm in the gym running, it feels like it's just brand new, like I'm brand new.
The former unified world champion revealed that the time away from the ring gave him the opportunity to heal various injuries that had been nagging him, clear his mind from the pressures of the sport, and rediscover the motivation and hunger that initially drove him to become one of boxing's most feared competitors.
Do either have to do to come out victorious and not just become crossroad challengers from this point on?
I mean, I don't know what Tszyu has to do, but, and I don't care what Tszyu has to do, because I'm with Spence. So.
I know.
But I think for Errol, you know, Errol just had to be Errol, you know. You got to get back to what got him to where he's supposed to be, you know. And, you know, Errol, you know, he has one defeat, you know, and that's against Errol Crawford. But before then, people were avoiding him like the plague, you know, because, you know, he's just that good. So I think he just got to get himself back into shape and get himself positioned to where he can do things that he did before.
What have you seen from Errol on his way to this fight and coming back against Tim Tszyu?
Well, you know, just being in the gym with him, you know, we was in the gym for like 3-4 days together, and you know, everything's looking good. You know, he's feeling good, and he's trying to just recapture.
Two-time world champion and respected boxing analyst Sean Porter reacted to Errol Spence Jr.'s decision to return to the ring by stating that only a fighter of Spence's caliber and mindset would willingly accept such a dangerous and high-risk challenge after being away from competition for nearly 3 full years. Porter expressed his admiration for Spence's courage, noting that most fighters returning from such a long layoff would typically choose a softer opponent or a tune-up bout to shake off the rust and regain their confidence. However,
the chase is the toughest and baddest challenges out there. And when I got presented with Errol, who's undeniably one of the best fighters of this decade, I didn't hesitate, and I straight away accepted. I accepted not to compete, but I accepted because I knew that the victory is only on my mind. I know the challenge that is put in front of me. I'm going to work super hard, and I'm coming for it all. And thank you again. Victory is mine.
Spence has never been one to take the easy road, and Porter emphasized that this decision reflects the kind of warrior mentality that has defined his entire career. According to Porter, Spence had been eager to make a comeback for a considerable amount of time, despite being fully aware of the obvious risks involved in facing a young, hungry, and active fighter like Tszyu. For his part, Errol Spence Jr. has been quick to shut down any and all talk regarding his long layoff, insisting that he has remained active in various other ways and that his mental sharpness has not diminished despite not competing inside the squared circle for an extended period.
Junior's making his return after 3 years of being out of the ring against Tim Tszyu. Just what are your thoughts on that fight, and who do you favor?
I don't know, man. It's Al Heyman calling these guys to come back, man, because we needed something up in the sport. This is beautiful. And I'm very honored and grateful to be in the position I'm in while all this is happening. It's a dream come true. Errol Spence, Australia, Tim Tszyu, heck yeah. I really want to see him win.
Do you think that ring rust is going to play a factor at all with Errol?
I don't think so. I think Errol Spence has been truly like non-stop working out. He already looks like he's in shape now. And when you stay on that trajectory, when you're staying consistently on working out, it's only bound to happen with the sparrings and everything.
He emphasized that he is entering this comeback with absolute and unwavering confidence, dismissing any doubts about potential ring rust and maintaining that he is still the same dangerous, elite-level fighter that fans remember from his championship days. Spence made it clear that he does not view his time away as a disadvantage, but rather as an opportunity to recharge and return with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. He is fully convinced that his experience, skill set, and championship pedigree will more than compensate for any perceived lack of recent activity, and he is eager to prove his doubters wrong on fight night. Spence also revealed that a significant change in his training team has given him a fresh mindset and renewed energy ahead of his highly anticipated comeback. By making the decision to work with veteran coach Ronnie Shields, Spence said he feels more comfortable, motivated, and mentally refreshed than he has in years, believing that the new environment and fresh perspective have helped reignite his passion for the sport and sharpen his focus on the task at hand.
Your opponent didn't have much love to show you. Are you just used to expect respect, like kind of that moment, you know?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I was always brought up to show some sort of respect to your opponent.
Yeah.
That's alright, it is how it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't change anything.
Are you surprised he didn't shake your hand?
I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. But it's alright.
Now you're mad at yourself. You're not even mad at him. You're mad at yourself.
Now I see how it is, you know?
Are you mad at him or are you mad at yourself?
No, I'm always...
You're just mad at him.
I'm alright, you know? Like, that's just how I was brought up.
Yeah.
You know, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But,
Errol's new trainer, the highly respected Ronnie Shields, has concentrated his efforts on sharpening Spence's fundamental boxing skills, with a particular focus on improving his defense, timing, and overall ring rhythm after such an extended period of inactivity. The primary goal in camp is not to reinvent Errol Spence Jr. as a fighter, but rather to make him a cleaner, sharper, and more refined version of the elite competitor who once dominated the welterweight division. Shields has been working diligently to address any potential weaknesses that may have developed during the layoff, while simultaneously building on Spence's existing strengths to ensure that he is fully prepared for the unique challenges that Tszyu will present. The emphasis has been on polishing his technique, enhancing his defensive awareness, and ensuring that his timing and reflexes are razor-sharp when the opening bell finally sounds. During a recent press conference, Tim Tszyu made it clear that even though Errol Spence Jr. is widely regarded as one of the best fighters of this decade, he accepted the fight because he genuinely believes that he possesses the skills and attributes necessary to emerge victorious. Tszyu
Spence, that makes you feel that, hey, you know what, I think I can take this guy.
it's a fight that wakes me up, you know? Wakes me up, you know, those fights that give you like a challenge, like the Tony Harrison fight for me was like alright, I've got to wake up, this is the fight, and it brings something different in your brain, in your body, you learn more about yourself, you just become a different person, a different animal, and that's another fight that will bring a different...
Explained that he views this contest as exactly the kind of challenge that proves where he truly belongs at the top level of professional boxing, and he is determined to seize this opportunity to cement his legacy. He added that his unwavering confidence in his preparation, training, and natural ability made the decision to accept the fight an easy one, despite the significant risks and potential consequences involved. Tszyu is fully aware of Spence's reputation and accomplishments, but he remains undeterred and believes that this is his moment to shine on the biggest stage of his career. Teofimo Lopez, himself a former world champion and one of boxing's most outspoken personalities, believes that Errol Spence Jr.'s comeback fight against Tim Tszyu will be one of the toughest and most demanding challenges of his entire career. Lopez pointed to Spence's elite level of experience, his championship pedigree, and his highly developed skill set as factors that will make this contest both fascinating and highly competitive. However,
see him make a comeback. We don't never want to see a guy go out bad and not try to come back, because that's what boxers do. I know he took a lot of things into consideration. He even told me when he spoke to a few people about it, and that was a good thing, but I'm glad he made the conscious decision to return. And I think it's a smart return because it's also against a guy who was on the way up there, who made it to the top, but had some struggles, and now he's on the incline trying to get back up too. So it's two guys trying to get back up. I think it's a great situation. But the biggest thing I gotta say that I love about Errol Spence is that Errol don't want no easy fights. Errol don't want to fight guys that are
he AKA no tune-up.
No,
he don't want no
tune-up. He wants challenges. You understand me? He wants challenges. And for him to challenge a person like Tim Tszyu, when Tim Tszyu has been regularly fighting for the last 3 years, he's been not doing much. That says a lot about Errol, but that tells you exactly how much fight is still left in Errol. Errol is a guy who's always coming to the party to dance. He don't have time to play no game.
Even though both fighters have largely maintained a respectful and professional demeanor throughout the build-up to their highly anticipated fight, tensions briefly surfaced during a key moment at their face-to-face meeting that threatened to disrupt the otherwise cordial atmosphere. The entire dynamic shifted in an instant when Errol Spence Jr. made the unexpected decision to refuse Tim Tszyu's offer of a handshake, an incident that immediately drew significant attention from both fans and members of the media in attendance. That single gesture added an unexpected and palpable edge to what had otherwise been a professional encounter, and it sparked widespread debate about whether it was a calculated act of intentional mind games or simply a display of genuine emotion ahead of such a high-stakes bout.
I respect for Errol Spence because he's a real fighter. You know, he's not a guy that talks a lot, but he brings a big stick to the battle. And you know when you deal with Errol Spence, you got to bring your lunch pail because he's going to bring it and he's nothing to play with. Obviously, being 36 years of age, being off as long as he has, hasn't had the tune-up fights. And by the way, I need my tune-up. Give me my tune-ups because boxing is hard. I need my tune-up because I need to sharpen my tools. I want to make another paycheck before I make the big paycheck, but that's just me. I need my tune-up, but I respect this brother because he's not with the tune-up. And you got to know who you are. If Errol knows that I can't really get up for that guy, then I can only get up for these type of guys. You gotta know yourself. And Errol Spence knows himself. So the respect is always gonna be there for him, and we will unpack this fight as we get closer because it's not until July 25th, but I'm excited to see him back. I'm excited to see him talk.
Tsyu later acknowledged the moment, suggesting that he found the gesture to be disrespectful and indicative of Spence's true feelings, while Spence himself continued to focus on the fight itself and downplayed the significance of the incident. Despite the controversy that has arisen, both fighters have maintained that their respect for each other as athletes and competitors remains intact, even if the handshake snub has since become one of the most talked about moments of their growing rivalry, further intensifying the anticipation for their big showdown. Tim Tszyu openly admitted that his upcoming fight against Errol Spence Jr. has reignited something deep inside him, pushing him to an entirely different level both mentally and physically as he prepares for the biggest challenge of his professional career. Unlike some of his previous bouts, Tszyu explained that this particular challenge feels personal on a deeper level, and it has forced him to sharpen every single aspect of his preparation, from his conditioning and strategy to his mental approach and focus.
Tim Tszyu, Errol Spence.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? Because that's wild if it was to happen.
I think that's a beautiful fight for both guys. You know, I kind of know this from seeing Keith Thurman try to come back after injuries and things like that. Keith didn't want to come back against a no-name, you know, but he didn't want to come back against the biggest names, you know. This is a fight right here where both these guys have significant names. Their in-ring experiences haven't been the best lately, and you know, truthfully, I think that this could be a 50-50 fight. If anything, I would lean towards Tim, even though he's been through some crashes of his own recently, pun intended. He's still been active, and that's the difference between him and Errol at this point. But I think it's a beautiful fight, 50-50 fight. I think the fight makes a whole lot of sense. Boxing.
The Australian star made it clear that facing a former unified world champion of Spence's caliber demands total focus, unwavering discipline, and an intensity that goes beyond anything he has experienced before, which is precisely why he believes fans will witness a far more dangerous and complete version of him inside the ring. Tszyu promised with absolute conviction that he would be a completely different animal on fight night, determined to apply relentless and suffocating pressure from the opening bell and prove once and for all that he belongs among boxing's elite fighters. He also suggested that the sheer magnitude of the event, combined with the criticism and skepticism surrounding both fighters, has motivated him more than ever before and given him an extra edge that he plans to channel directly into his performance. legendary former champion and current boxing analyst Roy Jones Jr. expressed genuine excitement about Errol Spence Jr.'s long-awaited return to the sport, praising his courageous decision to take on such a dangerous and formidable opponent in Tim Tszyu rather than choosing an easier and less risky comeback fight. Jones highlighted that stepping straight into such a high-risk matchup after such a lengthy period of inactivity demonstrates real courage, confidence, and an unwavering belief in one's own abilities. He added that this willingness to face a strong, aggressive, and hungry fighter right away has earned Spence significant respect across the entire boxing world, as it shows he is not interested in taking the easy way out or padding his record with meaningless victories. According to Jones, Spence's bold approach reflects the mindset of a true champion who is not interested in safe routes or tune-up bouts, but instead embraces challenges at the highest level and proves that he still believes wholeheartedly in his elite abilities. This bold and fearless move has only served to increase anticipation for the fight and has reinforced Spence's long-standing reputation as a fighter who is willing to test himself against anyone, regardless of the risks involved. Former unified champion and Hall of Fame-bound analyst Andre Ward also praised Errol Spence Jr.'s decision to return to the ring without first taking a tune-up fight, describing it as a clear reflection of real confidence and a true championship mindset. Ward noted that only a fighter with genuine self-belief and a deep reservoir of experience would choose to step straight back into such a dangerous matchup at this level of competition. He added that Spence's decision reflects complete trust in his own experience, his preparation, and his elite boxing ability, rather than any sense of caution or hesitation about what awaits him. According to Ward, skipping an easier opponent in favor of a dangerous challenge highlights Spence's competitive spirit and his willingness to be tested immediately upon his return, without any excuses or safety nets. He emphasized that such bold decisions are often what separate good fighters from great champions, especially in the context of high-pressure comebacks where the margin for error is virtually non-existent. Sean Porter, who has shared the ring with Spence and knows him better than most, drew a compelling comparison between Errol Spence Jr.'s comeback situation and Keith Thurman's return to the sport, noting that both fighters came back after extended periods of inactivity. However, Porter pointed out a crucial and significant difference between the two scenarios. Thurman eased his way back into competition by facing a lower-level opponent to test the waters, while Spence has immediately taken on the toughest and most dangerous challenge available in Tim Tszyu. Because of that critical distinction, Porter believes that Spence's return is far more dangerous, significant, and compelling than Thurman's comeback ever was. Despite the long layoff, Porter still views Spence as an elite-level fighter with the experience, intelligence, and skill to compete at the very highest stage. He added that this matchup is extremely close on paper and could realistically be a 50-50 fight, especially when considering Spence's championship pedigree and exceptional ring IQ. Even with legitimate questions about potential ring rust, Porter expects a highly competitive, brutal, and unforgettable battle between two determined and hungry fighters who are both eager to prove themselves. Do you believe that Errol Spence Jr.'s extended layoff will have a significant impact on his performance? Or is his vast experience and championship pedigree enough to handle the relentless pressure that Tim Tszyu